Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to episode 9, remade of Rocket League 101. So yeah, I apologise, this is a bit of a weird one, but we're going to be remaking my 2s video, why you suck at 2s video, because the one I made was just awful and it was 35 minutes long because I was just ranting about my teammate because I used a replay. But anyway, we're gonna get straight into this. If you haven't watched Why You Suck at 3s, I would go watch that first so you can understand the number concept. It makes the most sense to you. I'll briefly explain it here, but if you still don't get it after this brief explanation, go watch the 3's video, you'll understand it, and then you can come back to this and it'll make a lot more sense to you. So, in 2s, let's say someone's going for the kickoff, you have the person going diagonals, they're going to go, and the other person's here, right? From here, this person is 1, because they're challenging the ball, and this person, and this is the key difference between 2s and 3s. In 3s, one person is 1, one person is 2, and one person is 3, right? And you keep going between them. However, in 2s, there are only 2 people on a team. So, obviously, the one position has to be taken up by someone. You have to have someone challenging the ball, right? So, one person is always 1, therefore the other person has to do a mix/choose between, in each situation, whether they are being number 2 or number 3. Now, to better explain what 2 and 3 are, the person challenging the ball from here for the kickoff, right, is 1. If this person cheats, follows and goes like here, waits for the bounce, they're waiting for the outcome of the ball, aren't they? They're 2. That person is 2. However, if that person instead chose to go for this boost defensively, and what they then do is sort of like not nearly as affected by the outcome of that bounce, they are now 3, because they're not waiting for the outcome of the bounce. Like the bounce is going to go somewhere around here, right? They're not ready for that. They're playing defensive. They're playing it safe. They're in third man. They're playing third man in 2s, right? And that's fine. But this isn't just about kickoff. This is throughout the entire game. So you rotate between, one person is 1 and the other person is, we'll call it 2.5 to make it clear, right? So like regardless of which one they are, right? So you have one person who's 1 and one person who's 2.5. Those are like that's it, right? And the rotation is the person goes from 2.5 to 1, and the person goes from 1 to 2.5, right? Essentially, all it is in 2s is being 1 is really obvious. You're closer to the ball than your teammate, you're in a better position to push it, you push the ball, you're 1, right? And that's fine, that's simple, that is the key bit. Once you know that, that's when you can start thinking about this, right? And this will massively help you in 2s, because if you can see goals based off of bad rotations, you're like, oh, I didn't read the outcome of that play very well, I should have seen that wasn't going to go well for my teammate, I should have played further back. Then you are probably playing 2 when you're meant to be playing 3, right? Essentially meaning, let's say the ball's up in the air here, your teammate pushes it, but you can see your teammate is going to lose it quite cleanly, right? You don't want to be sat really close to him, or like centered, waiting for the bounce, waiting for your teammates to pass it over to you, right? And as 2, ready for it to shoot. You want to play third man. Remember, third man, as I talked about in my Why You're So Slow video, also I talked about in the Why You Suck at 3s. But third man covers this entire area. We're saying we're orange team, right? They're just covering this, as much of this as possible, right? So that the other team can't just bang the ball up and score. You're just like, you're a guardian for this whole area of the pitch that isn't being occupied. But obviously there's a lot of empty space in 2s, right? You need to decide whether you're here waiting for the 50 to sort of do nothing, so you're behind your teammate who's challenging in the air here, right? And you can push that, or if you're centered, because you're like, okay, my teammate's winning this, I can be centered, right? So those 2 options are both 2. It just, that depends on what's going on, right? And if you can see that your teammate's going to lose it completely, and it's just like, this does not look like a good situation, that's when you're like, okay, I'll play third man. And essentially, you could be in. This is probably the safest place to be, because you could be in this 2 position, right, this second man position, where you're waiting for the bounce, but then as you see it starts to turn a bit sour for your teammate, all you have to do is half flip, turn inwards a little bit, and you're in shadow position, and you're third man, you're playing third man, covering the guardian of your half again, they can't score, right? You just gotta be prepared. You just gotta be ready. And with defensive rotation, it's a little bit more simple most of the time, to be honest, because the person's going. It's when you're under defensive pressure, right? The area of danger is much smaller. It isn't the entire pitch where they can just bang it up, and then you have to decide whether you're all the way back here being 3, ready to make the save, so they can't just bang it in from their goal to yours and it goes straight in without you being able to do anything. Or if you're here waiting for the bounce, right? It's like it's more if you're here or here, right? Like the distancing is so much smaller, so the difference between 2 and 3 is much smaller. However, it's still very important. So let's say the ball's in the corner and that guy, the person on the other team has the ball, and they're sort of just like deciding what they want to do from the corner, and you can't really challenge it, right? And your teammate's here and you're here, right? Pretty standard. You've come in the back post and your teammate's closer, so you now need to decide if you're 2 or 3. Essentially, it's the same concept again. Is your teammate winning? Then you play 2 and you wait for the pass. However, you can't wait for the pass and try and start a counter attack and be in a better position for your teammate to use you if it doesn't look like they're gonna win the situation. If your teammate challenges this and the other guy, you know, gets the ball and taps it over him and is now pushing, you can't be driving up here because then they get a free goal. And people do that a lot. You have to realize, okay, my teammate's winning this, I can play 2, or oh, my teammate's losing this, let me play 3, right? Stay in the same position. And then you can go, you know, when your teammate rotates back around you, you can play 1. You get the point of rotation, right? It's pretty simple. But you always go from 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. You don't go from 3 to 2 or 2 to 3, right? It's always, you go from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, right? Essentially, there are 2 options. You're either 1 or you're 2 or 3. So they're in brackets, right? You're either number 1 or you're number 2/3. Like, I'm trying to make this as clear as possible, right? It's all very, each situation is its own, but that makes it sound vague and not clear and, you know, a bit, oh, that's a bit difficult. It's really not. It's bloody obvious. If your teammate's winning the ball, you play 2. If your teammate's not going to win the ball, you play 3. It's really that simple, right? That's it. And you won't get scored on like that anymore. Like, you have to actually mess up and mess up making a save or whatever. You will be in position. You'll be ready to make the save, and you'll be ready to score the goal or ready to win the loose ball after the 50 ahead of your opponent because you were playing 2 because you saw your teammate was winning it, right? This concept is utterly key to 2's rotation. Completely, fully key, right? Like, to basically base everything you do off of the situation itself, individually, but having that 2 and 3, like, thing in your head, which again, if you still don't understand it, go watch the 3's video, well, I suck at 3's, like episode 10, right, and this will make a lot more sense to you. It's really simple. It's really simple. You'll just basically reading the play before it happens and being ready for what's about to happen by looking with your eyes. Just look. It's really simple. You can see who's closer to the ball, your teammate or your opponent. Like, it's easy. It's really that easy. That's how rotation works in 2's. So, hopefully that was useful. If you have any questions, because I'm sure some people will have questions, drop them in the comments. But yeah. Drop a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you want more content, because I love making these. I love helping people. So yeah, I will see you later. Peace.